I was talking earlier with a friend about healing, about being self-aware, about doing self-work, about doing shadow work, going to therapy, trying to find out your traumas and healing those, trying to be a better person, trying to better yourself and take yourself to a place of emotional health. But I think in today's society, as much as I appreciate and I encourage every single person to do that, there comes a time where you can experience healing fatigue. Either because you're trying to fix all of your problems at the same time and it's a process, it takes a while to uncover everything about yourself and how to deal with them, and also because we get addicted to healing and there comes a point where you're healed. From that moment on, you get to build, you get to create the new self that you want, you get to develop the new self that you want. You don't need to go back and see what's quote unquote wrong with you and try to fix that. And if you don't pay enough attention, you won't realize that there comes a point where that emotional goal that you set for yourself when you started going to therapy or when you started the inner work, if you don't recognize that moment, you just keep on trying to heal parts of yourself and just trying to go deeper and deeper when the problem has been solved, or the issues that you had with what internal emotional knowledge you have at this moment is all that you can do. And if you go further than that, you're going to burn yourself out. And again, I appreciate and I think it's so necessary and so important to do inner work, to try to find who you are and see why you behave in certain ways, why you feel a certain way. Try to peel the layers of the onion, because we all have, our own experiences that shape us into who we are one way or another. But please take into consideration that there comes a point where the healing stops. That doesn't mean that self-awareness isn't good or effective or important from that moment on, but you need to focus it somewhere else. This is exactly what I was talking to this friend of mine, that when you're on an eternal quest of finding what's wrong with you, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be adjusted, you're never going to allow yourself the grace to be in a space to be like, no, everything is good now. And you're doing yourself a disservice, because that's why you started this internal revolution of going to therapy, of trying to find yourself, of being self-aware of your characteristics, of your behaviors, of your traumas, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. You went inside in order to get to know yourself, heal, and move on. You cannot move on if you don't have in the back of your mind a little reminder that says, there is so much healing that you can do. You cannot just heal forever, because otherwise you won't be able to experience life as a healed person. You're forever healing, even though there comes a time where there's nothing to heal from. And that in and of itself comes from self-awareness, because you have to pay attention and know if this is the moment where I've healed enough for what I can do right now, or if I've healed, period. Whichever way that is, if you experience one of those moments, you have to be like, okay, this is a moment when I need to stop for a little bit. It's like digging for a grave, and you take the coffin out and then you keep on going. Like, no, the point was to get at the coffin and get it out. Don't just keep on digging just for the sake of digging. You have to be self-aware of what your coffin is and when you've reached it, dealt with it, and there's no more need to go further in this specific hole. Maybe there's something else that you want to focus on. Maybe you need to take a break before you start digging another hole. Or maybe you're done. Because living in an eternal search for answers, you might run out of questions. And it becomes a trauma in and of itself. You just dedicate your life to finding problems about yourself that you want to fix. And sometimes that's literally the last step in your healing process that you have to take. Realizing that, you know what, I am okay. I don't need to just keep searching and searching and searching, even though probably at that point you're not finding anything else because there's nothing to find. So this is my reminder to you to do the inner work, take time to figure out who you are, build your self-awareness, go inside, figure your trauma responses, heal them, do the shadow work, do whatever you feel like you need in order to be your most authentic, happy, fulfilled self. But don't forget that just like with any other wound, emotional wounds heal, and there comes a time where if you pick at it, you just make it worse, just make it bleed again instead of letting it heal completely. So when the wound gets healed, just let it be and move on.